Hello and welcome to Decentralized Health, uh, Decentralized Health Administration at the Ubrica project. I bring you critical technical knowledge about creating perfect conditions for much needed revolution in the health industry. We're talking about decentralized health administration at the Ubrica project. Under the new conditions that we create for decentralized health, universal health access will be possible. Everyone in the world, including you and your loved ones, will have access to the best health services available. Health for everyone will be of the highest quality there is in the world, and it will be affordable by all. My name is Dr. Macharia Waruingi, and I come to you each and every day from the Ubrica project located at 1.4 degrees south of equator and 37 degrees east of the central meridian, that is just outside the southwest suburbs of Nairobi. Today, I have got very good things to discuss with you. Number one, of course, is the courses on about Ubricoin and blockchain and cryptocurrencies that we discussed about yesterday. Now, and on offer at the Academy of the Society of Ubricans. So sign up today at the Academy of Society of Ubricans. If you want to know how to sign up, write to info@ubrica.com. Info@ubrica.com. Now, today, I'd like us to focus on Ubricoin, adoption and Metcalfe effect. Adoption and Metcalfe effect. Adoption of Ubricoin and Metcalfe effect. This material, as usual, is accepted from Decentralized Health Administration textbook under development by Susan Nyambura Njuguna in Ubrica Research and Development Team and her entire team. All right, so we talk about Ubricoin and the Metcalfe effect. Now, but first, the basics. Ubrica project strives to solve three fundamental problems of health production in the world. Problem number one is that of lack of access to health services. Problem number two is poor quality of medical services. And problem number three is high cost of medical services in the world. Lack of access to health services occur when people do not have money to go to hospital. Lack of access can also occur when there is no hospital to go to. Poor quality of medical services occur when people do not have enough knowledge to deal with medical problem in their location. In, and of course, high cost of medical services in the world occur when manufacturing of products can be that can be used to improve health in the nation is stifled. So we have seen three problems and how they occur. Now we solve the problem access to health due to lack of money by creating Soko Janja, an online retail store where anyone or everyone in the world can sell what he or she has produced to increase their earning power. Money in the pocket means realized access to health. Of course, our Ubrica clinics and hospitals project ensure physical access to health services, and Ubrica Science and Technology Parks create places for translation and commercialization of new and relevant knowledge, ensuring best quality of medical services in the world. Ubrica Biomedical Industrial City promotes local manufacturing of biomedical products, reducing reducing the cost of medicines and medical devices and health services in general, making health affordable by all. Ubricoin, the cryptocurrency for universal health access, accelerates health production in the Ubrica ecosystem. You can support universal health access by getting and adding Ubricoin to your portfolio of cryptos or by getting equity in the Ubrica project. Get involved. Do not sit on the sidelines of health. Buy and hold at least every day $10 worth of UBN each and every day, and you will soon have hundreds of thousands of UBN, and you will have supported the most important cryptocurrency project in the world today. That is a project that is going to help provide universal health access for everyone. You can get even more involved by joining the World Ubricoin Ambassador Program, where you gain deeper knowledge about the Ubrica project and continually share the knowledge with people in your circle of influence. As an ambassador, you will be the bridge between Ubricoin, Ubrica, Sokojanja, and the people that you know in the world. And to increase your knowledge on the blockchain and cryptocurrencies in health, take take courses at the Academy of Ubricans. For inquiries on how to enroll for courses, write to info@ubrica.com. Smash the like button if you like what you're doing. Of course, hit the bell button so that you can receive notifications and participate in the chat. Share your views on how we can decentralize health we can decentralize knowledge in health and medicine. And now, today's topic. Today's topic. Today we discuss about Ubricoin adoption. What are we doing to get Ubricoin adopted by people in the world? Of course, in a global health space. And we examine that under the light of the Metcalfe effect. Metcalfe effect. Metcalfe is spelled as M-E-T-C-A-L-F-E, M-E-T-C-A-L-F-E effect. Now, as we know, Ubricoin is a type of payment that's fundamentally different from the fiat currency. Banks is different from banks and different from credit card. Unlike credit cards, debit card, most of the original or digital payments, Ubricoin value transfer is push mechanism, not a pull mechanism. Ubricoin payment is not an authorization to withdraw from your account. That's why it's very, very beautiful. It's not an authorization to withdraw from your account. So somebody is not going to take your money. Instead, the exact payment amount itself is pushed directly to a named recipient as a value token. Ubricoin is a community token to be used for exchange of value between users, particularly in the health or global health industry. Ubricoin gives users a chance to incubate their businesses without relying on scarce national currency and the volatile market of money. Ubricoin is virtual money, which is common tender. Ubricoin is a digital representation of value that is used and accepted among members of the Ubrica community or the Society of Ubricans. To prevent double spending, the security of the system does not allow duplication of transactions. This is controlled by the timestamp protocol we have seen before. The timestamp proves that the data must have existed at the time previously in order to get into the system. Security does not reveal the identity of the user. The transaction itself is unforgeable and immutable. Ubricoin payments can therefore be freely transmitted without encryption over any network and can be stored and secured system without fear of compromise. That is important. I thought it was important for us to say those things so that people can understand the nature of Ubricoin itself and why it's going to be very, very valuable in in the world. So particularly now let's talk about in the health care space and health production space, how Ubricoin is going to help, particularly to provide universal health access. But before it can go to the point of giving universal health access, we need to know where Ubricoin will be deriving its value from. See, Ubricoin will derive its value from its network of users. Network of users. That's what is known as Metcalfe effect. According to Metcalfe, the value of a network is directly proportional to the square of the number of connected users of that network. So the value of the network, we say the Ubricoin network, is directly proportional to the square of the number of connected users. That means if you had only one person holding Ubricoin, that Ubricoin has is of no value because there's nothing you can use it. But if you have another person, then the value is squared because now you have two people and they can trade with one another. What if you had three? Then you have three squared, that's nine. So and it keeps on growing like that. So the more the people we get to hold Ubricoin, the greater the likelihood that Ubricoin is going to have great value. So the more the number of people, or the greater the number of people holding Ubricoins, the greater the value of UBN. And you can see, so UBN is going to be, the value of UBN is directly proportional to the square of the number of users of UBN. Therefore, the value of UBN rises from the number of users of UBN, and let's say the number of active users, because you can have people holding UBN, but they're not using it. The linkage between the people is paramount in this model. This is known as the model for producing Metcalfe effect. So the linkage between people. Now we're saying if you have UBN, use it so that you can become an active user. If you don't use it, then the value doesn't matter. So number one is to get UBN. Number two is to use it. Distributing the coin will only create a number of users. Such means that like what we did early in this year, in January, all the way out to March, we distributed a lot of UBN to people. But that's called a primary distribution. If we distribute coins to the first group of recipients, and then we do nothing to get those recipients to get them to recruit other people to receive UBN, and then they start interacting. Should we not do that? Then the value of UBN could drop down to zero. We don't want that. So creating a user base without linkages only results to a number of people holding the coin, but the coin will not have value. The value will only be created if the users are linked. As the number of people in the network increases, the connectivity increases. We're seeing active use. When people link to each other using Ubricoin, the value grows immensely, as we have seen in an exponential fashion, according to Metcalfe. The network effect comes from a social nature of users holding the coin. We should allow both horizontal, that means giving coins to other people in your network, and vertical linkages, that means giving people in up your value chain, making sure that people up your value chain. For example, if you're a carpenter, you need to buy wood, you need to buy nails, you need to buy hammer, and all those things. You go to the people who sell these things to you, and then help them open wallets and let them have some UBN. Tell them to go and buy Ubricoin. That way, you can pay them in in Ubricoin. Also, go to the people who are downstream of your value chain. For example, if you make furniture, you're going to go to the people who buy furniture from you. Tell them, I want to get paid in UBN. What they're going to do is they're going to go and buy UBN, and then they'll pay you in UBN. That's how we talk about that vertical linkages, and horizontal linkages are those people who are your friends. They don't buy anything from you, but them having it, probably they're going to create vertical linkages. And of course, maybe your friends could be sending you money for whatever reasons, and that is very important. Then we get this vertical linkages and horizontal linkages, and the linkages between the users themselves. Now that creates a large network. The network effect is then realized through connected users. Following Metcalfe's law, we have developed a business model in Ubrica for Ubricoin distribution. The goal for the goal is to get Ubricoin accepted in Kenya at least by 2024 as a standard method of payment for the 14 million families in the nation. Complete acceptance will mean that transactions in the country will go through Ubricoin. We hope that people will use Ubricoin for making payments for groceries, school fees, medical care, transportation, entertainment, or for capital purchases like buying cars, buying buildings, buying land, or for funding capital projects. In addition, people will use Ubricoin to pay for all kinds of professional services to providers, architects, the engineers, doctors, lawyers, teachers, and the like will accept Ubricoin for services provided. Paraprofessionals like technicians, plumbers, carpenters, and all labor providers in general will accept UBN for payment of their labor. Business people will pay for purchases in UBN. Petrol station owners will pay petroleum dealers with UBN. The dealers will then pay refiners in UBN, thus covering the supply side. On the demand side, people will buy petroleum using UBN. Similarly, restaurant owners will pay for groceries and other restaurant supplies in UBN. The customers will in turn pay restaurant owners in UBN. In the travel business, people will vote for tickets, hotel, accommodation, meals, and other travel amenities in UBN. UBN will generally be accepted in all transactions in both the supply and demand side of business. And that is what we are doing. So we're building, that's what we talked about yesterday in creating the World Ubricoin Ambassador Program, is to help spread the word, to build the Metcalfe effect, so that when Metcalfe effect is fully saturated, we shall be able to do all those transactions in UBN. So here's the implementation strategy. According to Rogers, 1962, Rogers is Everett Rogers, who brought to us the adoption of innovation theory. According to Everett Rogers, 1962, adoption of innovation theory, um, Ubricoin is going to encounter 5 categories of people. Now listen carefully so that you can know where you are in this in Rogers classification. 5 categories of people. These 5 categories include innovators, early adopters, and we have early majority, we have late majority, and laggards. So let's see. Now listen carefully so you can know where you lie in this timeline. Innovators are those people who want to be the first to try the innovation. They are venturesome and interested in new ideas. Innovators are willing to take risks and are often the first to develop new ideas. Very little, if anything needs to be done to appeal to innovators. So, if you're an innovator, you already have UBN in your wallet right now. If you're not an innovator, you don't have UBN in your wallet because innovators do not ask any questions. They are very, very venturesome people and they're interested in new ideas. If you find that you do not have UBN in your wallet right now, you know you're not an innovator. And that's not good because you're not at the forefront of the economy. Innovators are willing to take risks. The question is, are you willing to take risks? Are you the are you often the first to develop new ideas? Little is, if anything, it needs to be done to appeal to you. And if you are an innovator, you are very, very well suited to become a World Ubricoin Ambassador. Yeah, so you can join the WUAP, the World Ubricoin Ambassador Program, so that you can continue innovating and help us to innovate the health care space or health production space. Then we have number two. We have the early adopters. Early adopters are opinion leaders. That's good. They enjoy leadership roles and embrace change opportunities. Early adopters are already aware of the need to change, so they are very comfortable adopting new ideas. Strategies to appeal to this population include how to manuals and information sheets on implementation. They do not need information to convince them to change. So we have now the second category, we call them early adopters. Now these people are really good for an innovation like Ubricoin because they just need to read the white paper, they like it, and then they say, we are on. We're in. I am in. I do not need to be convinced to change. I know that we need to change. Like we know, I do not need to be convinced to change the health production space in Africa. We know that we are in serious trouble in health in Africa. So we don't have to spend a lot of time arguing. Should we change this or should we not? We know that the maternal mortality, that the death of women due to pregnancy is the highest in the world. You can have as many as 100 women, or even 200, even up to 300 women dying per thousand. That is what, like 30% of the women get pregnant will die in some parts of this world. And this can disappear if we adopt cryptocurrency for health, for global health. Then we have number three, early majority. Early majority are really leaders. They do not adopt new ideas before the average person. We call them early majority. This means that it's going to take a long time before the majority comes in. So right now, as we are in the still stage in Ubrica, we only have people who are early innovators and early adopters. We still have not reached the early majority phase, but it is coming. We hope that we start getting early majority phase before the end of this year. So we have these people who are not leaders, but they will adopt the ideas before the average person. So they can come, they just be a little bit ahead of the average person, but they need to see evidence that the innovation works before they're willing to adopt. That's it. This is why when people come to say on a social media and start saying a lot of yada yada yada, you know where they lie. You know yourself. If you do not adopt, you adopt new ideas, but you need to see evidence. This is what people call the doubting Thomases. If you have to see evidence that the innovation is working, you are in this early majority. You're not a leader, you're a follower. You are going to follow after the early adopters and innovators have already adopted. And of course, that is how you lose out because if this was an investment and you only come in after everyone else or just before everyone else comes in, then the opportunity is low because the risk is also low, which is not bad. It's just a type of personality as described by Rogers in 1962. Late majority are skeptical of change. These people will only adopt an innovation after being tried and by the majority. Now, late majority people usually they adopt an innovation maybe about 6 to 7 to 10 years after the innovation has been around. Forget them. In the beginning, they won't help. This is why you see, like say here for Ubricoin, it will be of no help for someone who is a late majority skeptic. It is just a waste of time trying to convince him, trying to change that person. that person is already skeptical of change by nature, and that one will not adopt an innovation many years after it has been tried and by the majority. So let us say we are coming from people who are shoeless, they don't wear shoes because that's their culture. If you bring shoes to that community, early adopters will wear the shoes right away. Innovators will just actually even try to make shoes. Early adopters take the shoes right away. The early majority will wait until almost a, a certain percentage, which is quite big, to have adopted, and then we have the late majority coming in so much later. Because they're skeptical. They say, why should we be wearing shoes? We've been walking everywhere without shoes. And of course, if I wear shoes, I could fall, fracture my leg. You find the late majority of people are always giving themselves so many reasons why they should not adopt the technology. Now, do we have that here in Kenya? Are we having that kind of problem? Yes, across all sectors, whether they're professionals, doctors. You tell them we need cryptocurrencies to improve health. They say, what about that person who died with Bitcoin? uh, with Bitcoin, whatever. Say, where did the person die from? The person, we don't know why the person died, but then they tell you, I cannot take Ubricoin or cryptocurrencies because I can die with the private keys, or because I can die with the public keys. Yeah, now that's the kind of argument you still hear. Now, these are people who are skeptical of change, and of course, they'll be telling you a lot of stories and excuses why they should not get involved. And then we have the laggards. Laggards is the personality type number 5. These people are bound by tradition. For example, right now we know that there are people who will not take cryptocurrencies because there is fiat legal tender, and those ones will never change because they were born into legal tender, and it's fiat currency, and they will die in legal tender. So when you meet such a person, you could be very frustrated. You think this person is not good because he's not changing, but such a person by nature is very skeptical of change, and is the hardest group to bring on board. Maybe it's not even necessary to bring on board. Strategies to appeal to this population include statistic, fear appeal. Now you have to go there with the fear, telling them about things that are so terrifying that if they miss out, uh, a laggard will say, nothing will happen to me, but you have to tell him that if you miss out on this one, you'll not be able to buy even sweet potatoes for dinner. Now, that is extreme. So you give fear of missing out, but it's not necessary. So in many laggards, usually, in order for them to change, they need pressure from people who have already adopted. We don't see it necessary to do that. Let's say we have 14 million families in Kenya. We know that out of that, innovators form 2.5% of the population. Now that means that UBN we can get 350,000 families if 2.5%. But of course, the challenging thing is that these 350,000 families are not sitting together. They are not going to be in one location. They are distributed in every county. And now it means that we have to go to every county and get 2.5% of the people in each one of those counties to change. Now we have 47. So that's hard work. And that's why our ambassadorial program is going to be very helpful in getting these 350,000 families who are early adopters. Now, after we did a global search for people who are early adopters in the entire world through an airdrop program in the month of July, we got 117,000 people, just almost 120,000 people. Now that is on the entire planet. When we had done this for Kenya, we got 6,000 people as early adopters. So 6,000 out of 350,000, we got 6,000 in one period giveaway. So we can calculate and see how long it will take to get 350,000 using Metcalfe's law, knowing that the adoption is exponential. And we're thinking that by 2024 we will have all these about those 350,000 families will be in. Those ones we can get within a year. Now, to get the early adopters, we need to convert about 1.89 million people, or 1.89 million families have adopted the UBN. And of course, To get the early majority, we shall get about 34% of the remainder, and that is 4.76 million. Now, these things are not going to come easy. So we expect that Ubricoin will be used for transactions by 11.7 million people by 2024. 11.7 million people, even 11.8. So out of 14 million families, 2.2 million shall remain, and those are the laggards. Now we have 2.2 million families who are the laggards, who in Rogers' model may not adopt UBN as their standard mode of payment. Nonetheless, they are highly likely to interact with people using UBN such that they will be indirect users. For example, a laggard could receive UBN sent to him or her from a neighbor or someone buying something. So laggard may request friends, relatives, and neighbors to help with shopping using UBN. So it means that if you're very, very diligent, by 2024, we can get the entire 14 million. But that is much more wishful thinking. There has to be at least 2 million people who will not have anything to do with UBN. Okay. Now, while Rogers' diffusion of innovation theory informs us about the likelihood of people adopting UBN, Metcalfe's law is instructive about how UBN will gain value in the marketplace. According to Metcalfe, the value of a network is directly proportional to the square of its user. That's what we said in the beginning. Ubricoin is already a currency. We do not need to hedge value of the coin with fiat currency. We only need to create a network of Ubricoin holders to use it as common tender. Our target is the primary stage is to help at least 1 million people create Ubricoin wallets by the end of this year, 2019. This, by Metcalfe's law, would translate to value of 1 million square, that's a trillion. We have set aside 2 billion UBN to be distributed to 1 million people to facilitate adoption of by 11.7 million people by 2024. So, and the principal mechanism for distributing 2 million Ubricoin is by allocating coins directly from the main contract to individuals, and of course to promote trade and to have people send Ether to the main contract. Well, that is it for today. We have discussed about the Metcalfe's law, Metcalfe effect, distribution of UBN, and adoption of UBN in the market, guided by the Rogers diffusion of innovation theory. Finally, the basics. The Ubrica project strives to solve three fundamental problems of health production in the world. That's lack of access to health services, problem number one, poor quality of medical services, problem number two, and high cost of medical services in most of the world as problem number three. We solve the problem of lack of access due to lack of money by creating Soko Janja, an online retail store where anyone in the world can sell what he or she has produced to increase earning power. Money in the pocket means realized access to health. Ubrica clinics and hospitals project ensure physical access to health services, and Ubrica science and technology parks create places for translation and commercialization of new and relevant knowledge, ensuring best quality of medical services in the world. Ubrica Biomedical Industrial City promotes local manufacturing of biomedical products, reducing cost of medicines and medical devices and health services in general, making health affordable. Ubricoin, the cryptocurrency for universal health access, underwrites health production in Ubrica ecosystem. You can support universal health access by getting and adding Ubricoin to your portfolio of cryptos or by getting equity in Ubrica project. Get involved. Do not sit on the sidelines of health. Buy and hold $10 worth of UBN each and every day, and you'll be very, very happy because you'll be having a lot of money. You can get even more involved by joining the World Ubricoin Ambassador Program, where you gain deeper knowledge about Ubrica project and continually share that knowledge with people in your circle of influence. As an ambassador, you will be the bridge between Ubricoin, Ubrica, Soko Janja, and other people in the world. To increase your knowledge about on blockchain and cryptocurrencies in health, take a course on Academy of Ubricoins for inquiries on how to enroll for the courses. Write to info@ubrica.com or call +254 755 844017 +254 755 844017. Thank you so much. Goodbye, 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 and see you tomorrow We look forward to having you again as we continue this discussion. The question is, how do we use Ubricoin effectively, and how do we realize the Metcalfe effect by having a complete diffusion? And we know, all knowing that at least 2.5% of the people will never adopt because they are laggards. But even then, we still have the opportunity for getting them on board. Thank you, and bye-bye.